Well, a three-day hearing in the Delphi homicide case that had been set for this week was canceled the day before it was supposed to start. Shay Hughes is a deputy public defender in Tippecanoe County, and he joins us in the studio this evening to break down the latest developments in the case against Richard Allen. Shay, thank you very much for joining us to talk about this again. Did that surprise you on Monday? Because just on Friday, she had issued an order saying no, that hearing was going to happen on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday.
Yeah, I was somewhat surprised that it was canceled, but in some respects not, because there was some notice provided to her that there would be a motion filed by Richard Allen's attorneys recusing Judge Gall, and that she would have to address that before they went into anything else.
Yeah, so legally she can't make any other decisions in the case until she decides on that.
Yeah, unless there's an emergency, but there doesn't seem to be anything of that nature so far. So she needs to address this motion before addressing anything else.
Okay, and that was a 42-page filing asking her to disqualify herself. And as I understand it, as I recall it, it's their second attempt to get her off the case?
That's correct, yes.
How unusual is that? I wouldn't think it'd be all that unusual for a defense team to ask a judge to recuse, but to make repeated efforts at that, how unusual is that?
Well, it's pretty unusual to file the motion itself. I mean, I've been practicing for just over 10 years. I've personally never filed such a motion. A repeated attempt, that is pretty unusual. In some respects I get it, because they raised it initially. It was addressed by the Indiana Supreme Court, and I think it's ultimately to preserve the issue for appeal if Richard Allen were convicted.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about that too. A lot of these filings, and you and I and people who have followed court cases for years, this one is just under a ton of motions, mostly from the defense.
Correct. There's a ton to address and unpacked before the scheduled trial in October.
So the flurry of motions in this particular case, do you read that as an effort to make it an appealable decision if Richard Allen were convicted?
Yes, I think there are some good issues that are being raised in reference to the statement that he made at the police station. I think ultimately a lot of it is ultimately to preserve the record. And some of it, these are public filings, and it is to develop their case further. So yeah.
When I opened up this motion for her, the second motion for her to take herself off the case, I don't want to get too personal about it, but I thought a judge is going to get upset about this. Should that be taken into consideration at all?
In some respects, I think we probably reached past that point, given what's transpired in this case.
And should the defense team be worried about that, or is that what they're going for?
I don't think they're necessarily worried. I mean, personally, I think the worst thing to happen to them did happen back in October when they were removed from the case, right? So I don't think they're necessarily worried about it.
All right. Now, do you think it's reasonable to expect that this is still going to go to trial in October of this year?
I think it can be done. Again, there's a lot to unpack, but I think if the court schedules hearings and so forth and can promptly address all the matters that are currently pending, I think it's possible to get it done in October.
Okay, we shall see. Shay Hughes, Deputy Public Defender for Tippecanoe County, and not connected to the Allen case.
That's correct.
Okay, Shay, thank you very much.
Thank you.